Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and today, yes, we got some things to go over from the Star Trek Online official Twitter feeds, so on screen. Yes, captains, before we get in this video, do us a huge favor, hit that like button, also subscribe here to YouTube Bridge, as we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains where we can share our love, passion for Star Trek Online, but also things Star Trek. Now, with that said, here we go. Now, we did cover this in our recent update video there for Star Trek Online, but here we have Star Trek Online retweeting a tweet from Dave Blass. Of course, we know he worked on Star Trek Picard, but I thought this would be interesting to kind of go over. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over this image here, which is the fleet represented in the final battle for Earth there, and give our ECs, and of course, at the end, give our conclusions. So here we go. So size matters, especially when you are wrangling an entire fleet of ships during Frontier Day. Keeping everything in check across multiple platforms and series can be a challenge. Thus is why we try to have uniform scale charts. An updated chart to address, says here, address the Akira debate. Both David Stipes, VXF coordinator, and Doug Drexler have measured the actual VFX model at 860 feet, but others have it at 1,532.6 feet. It's played in STO as the larger size. So awesome. Love how he's just talking about STO. I'm naming my next Akira ship the Schrodinger. I'm probably butchered that, my apologies, because clearly both can be right and both can be wrong. So we have this chart here that we're gonna go over here. I thought this was pretty cool here for him to share that. Now we know exactly what ships here, and I was indeed, of course, correct when I saw some of the ships there. Sometimes it's kind of too fast to see, but so we'll start from the top and go to the bottom here. Of course, Starfleet ships season 3, and we did similar videos here and there Picard during the season there when we had charts like this when it was released by Dave Blass himself, I believe. So of course there is the Odyssey class. There you go, 3,478 feet, and yes, she is now officially canonized. Now I will say this just as my thoughts. Yeah, I'm just throwing this out there. I know I've seen a lot of disappointed captains that we're not going to be getting any more screenshot of the Enterprise F. But if we remember, captains, the scene there of the fleet when the entire fleet was in formation, there was a bunch of Odyssey classes in the middle of each of the sort of separate formations there. So to me, I still think it's a win-win. They may be decommissioning the F, but we still have the Odyssey class in Star Trek canon. So I think to me, that's more the important part. Would I have loved to see the Enterprise F fly more? Of course, but I'm glad we even got screen time. They could have easily not used the Enterprise F or even the Odyssey, but I think we'll just take what we can and just run with it. So again, super happy that the Odyssey class captains, you know, we've done videos on it here on the YouTube channel, on the YouTube Bridge, stating how happy we are, and I'm glad again that this ship is canonized, the flagship of Star Trek Online. And it's been stated by Ambassador Kale himself that, you know, Star Trek Online and Star Trek Picard are two different things, two different timelines, and that's kind of how I view them anyways. But regardless, things are canon, and that's I'm just gonna run with that. So I thought I'd just throw that out there because it has been a discussion on the bridge here when we've been streaming. So next up, of course, the Sovereign class. Was super happy, of course, to see that. And captains, as of this video, we just finished up our recent series of First Contact Day tribute to the fleet that was there in Battle of Sector 001. So check that out. The last ship, of course, was the Enterprise E, and had fun. And this ship is so smexy. There was a bunch of these, definitely a bunch of these. The E wasn't there because it's Worf's fault. I'll just say it's Worf's fault. But there you go, Sovereign class, 2,250 feet there. And of course, the Ross class, which of course is a Star Trek Online ship, now which is an upgraded skin of the Galaxy. That's why hence they look so similar. So 2,176 feet. Now, to those captains who are new here, welcome, of course. If you want to fly these ships in game, you totally can. You will have to invest some time into getting these ships, but you can get all of these ships for free with time investments. I will say that again, with time investments, you can get all of these ships that I'm showing here in this video that was present in Star Trek Picard's season finale for free with time investment. Or if you just don't even want to say use free, just say time investment. And I do have a video showing how you can do that. I'll probably link that below, but it is in the channel there as one of our main videos you see, and it's how to get free ships items in Star Trek Online for 2023, not even just for 2023 but beyond. So if the Ross class is your cup of tea, this is the ship you can get. Now this one in particular is going to take a little longer because it is part of a bigger package, but you can get it for free. And again, that's one of my goals actually on my free-to-play account. I have two accounts, one on PC, which is my main, but also one on PlayStation, on console. And my next goal is to get that ship because it is a skin that you can get. It is exclusive, but you can still get it with some patience. Next up is the Sutherland class. Saw a bunch of these actually during the seasons there, or the last season. And it is a Nebula. This is the upgraded skin of the Nebula class in Star Trek Online. So love it. Looks really cool and aggressive there. Love the look of that. And of course, my personal favorite, the first ship that I fell in love in Star Trek, which is the Galaxy class. I didn't actually see it there, but I'm glad it was there to show that she was still in service, which she should be. I don't see a reason why she shouldn't, but you can see there, the size of the Sutherland is 2,140 and the Galaxy is 2,108. Of course, it's getting smaller and smaller. We started off with the longer ship there and working our way downwards. Next is the Inquiry. This ship, the USS Copy and Paste from Picard Season 1. There's the Inquiry class, of course, the toughest ship that Starfleet has ever made. I'm not sure now if that is still true, but you can see it there. Again, a ship there available in Star Trek Online, and also has a barbecue grill for its deflector. It is a ship that I have, and the only problem I have is with the deflector. Any other angle of the ship, I really do like it. So, you know, I wish we could have seen it more in action, but I mean, all these ships did was be in a formation and just fire everything they had at the space station there. So there's that. The Excelsior class, of course, the Inquiry is 2,100 feet. Now the Excelsior 2 class. There was a couple of these in there. It wasn't just one. The USS Excelsior 2 was there, but there were a bunch of Excelsior class. One scene, actually, Excelsior class blew up there. But you can see the length of 1,929 feet there. A great update to the Excelsior, in my opinion. It fixed a lot of the issues that I had, especially that top view that you see here. With the original Excelsior, the small little saucer there, the circular saucer, and then like just the elongated secondary hull in itself, it just made it look off. But this fixed that. Yes, it does make it look like a Sovereign, but it works for me. So there's that. The Dudasik class. So there you go, 1,898 captains. This is Bill Krause's new design ship here in Star Trek Online. It's been canonized, Star Trek Online, Star Trek. And this ship's probably going to be in Star Trek Online, definitely. So it would be weird that it wouldn't get into Star Trek Online, but now we get to see it there. And I was right, it is actually a little bigger than the Titan. Very interesting design. I personally do like the original concept that he submitted personally, but regardless, it's there and it's using those Sagan class nacelles again. But you can see how it stacks up to the Constitution 3 class, or the Titan, or now I guess the Enterprise G, which, yes, it's the Enterprise G. And I think we're going to have another video for discussion on that, but that'll be for that. So that's definitely coming to Star Trek Online. It was confirmed as of this video in a recent stream from the devs that they're already started working on this. So when we get this in game, definitely we're going to get it. And we're going to have fun with the ship because it's something that we're looking forward to. So you can see that the Dudasik class, the Constitution 3 class, both Bill Krause's ships. So huge shout out to him. And captains, we will be having him back on the bridge for part 2 interview, as we are already in talks of trying to get that all set up. So hopefully soon, TM soon. And of course, the Titan / Enterprise G was the hero ship. The Sagan class, the ship that we saw in season 2 of Picard, there, love the ship. I have it. I have a thing for nacelle ships. And there you can see the length of it is 1,774. And the Echelon mid-model class, which is essentially a Sagan class with chopped off bottom nacelles. Sure, why not? I get it. I guess it's kind of like that treatment that the Nebula class would get as well, just using the same parts, but just kind of this time not using lower nacelles. But the length there is different because they don't have the second set of nacelles at the bottom. They're extending past the first set there at the top, 1701. Gee, I wonder if that was on purpose. Now, the Gagarin class, of course, that is a Star Trek Online ship that made it on screen in Star Trek Picard Season 2. It's part of that fleet facing the Berg, the Forgotten Berg, Girardi's Berg. So 1,614. So the Elita class, that ship definitely, we saw that like stick out like a sore thumb there, especially when the episode aired. So that is essentially the upgraded skin of the Akira. And as you can see there, they have that similar look to them. The saucer, the underslung nacelles, and of course that torpedo pod. So the Elita class stands at 1,054. So the Akira class, of course, one of our favorite ships. Again, that was a ship that we included in the first Contact Day Fleet Tribute. One of my favorite ships in Star Trek lore, 1,523.6. And of course, Eagle Moss / Stowe scale. So that's going to be a little bit of interesting bit of contention when we get lower there. But of course, the Luna class finally on screen of course, okay, it was in Lower Decks, but now it was actually officially on a Star Trek episode that, when I say official, it's not cartoon. It was a real CGI model with the rest of the fleet there. So that's awesome. We saw a couple of 2, 3, I think, of that there. You see the size there, 1,487. Of course, that is the structure base of the Neo Constitution. Sure. Because it stated that the Neo Constitution was Riker's old ship, which was a Luna class. And of course, that just got recently canonized as well. Shout out to Sean there, the original designer of the ship. It was shown in Star Trek Lower Decks, where we lost our ever-loving mind. Next up, the Pathfinder class, which we were told, well, not told, but also, we were told, essentially, that is Voyager B. USS Voyager B. And again, it is a Star Trek Online ship. As you can see there, 1,415. And this ship, I forgot the name of the ship, but now it's there, the Edison class. There you go. That is the Edison. That actually is a Star Trek Discovery ship that they have put a new skin on in Star Trek Online. Not my favorite. It is kind of an odd looking ship for me personally, and especially the Discovery era one. And of course, they just kind of reskinned it, made it a little bit modern. Not my favorite class, to be honest, out of all of these that we're looking at, but it is there, the Edison class, and it is a ship that you can get in Star Trek Online. So 1,244. Of course, the Steamrunner class, that's awesome that they're bringing that ship in there. It's 1,230, again, a ship that we use in the first Contact Day Tribute Fleet, or Fleet Tribute. And here you go. This was a baby Akira. 850 feet. There's a baby Akira here. And this is the VFX scale DS9. So he's just putting it in there, I guess. So sure, why not? So we got 2 scaled Akiras. Sure. Next up, the Reliant class is the Tier 6. And when I say Tier 6 skin, what that just means is the sort of level of ship in the game Star Trek Online. So I refer to it, but some captains may not know that's just what it is. It's a Star Trek Online term for an upgraded sort of better ship from your Tier 1s, let's say. Higher tiered, better ship. Of course, the Reliant class, there we did see that, of course, canonized as well. 823 feet. Of course, we have the Defiant class. I knew I saw that in there. I'm glad they had that in there. I wish we would have seen a little bit more pew-pews from it, but again, all the ships just kind of stayed in that formation and just pewed away at the starbase. And lastly on this list is the Nova class at 557.6 feet with a Defiant at 560 feet. So interesting to see these ships there and make it on screen. And there was a bunch of these. There was a bunch of Odysseys. Everything was essentially doubled. I didn't see the Galaxy class. I may have to look at that again. I'm pretty sure I saw the Inquiry, a couple inquiries there. In the main fleet, I didn't see the Dudeser class. The only time I saw this at the end of episode 10 was at the end of episode 10, I should say, when it was in the background there when we saw the Enterprise G. Echelon Sagan saw that. Of course, we saw these. Couple of Elitas, I saw that. Kira's. I saw a couple, I think, Voyagers there, or actually Pathfinder classes. I saw one. I think one got blown up. I didn't see the Stream Runner class, but there. I feel that we're still missing some ships here. The Saber class, not here. Why? Why don't we have a Saber class? That is part of this sort of Borg fleet that was made there. Intrepid, I don't see why there wouldn't be an Intrepid class still. That's still a pretty modern ship. And if the Galaxy class was, and the Galaxy class was made before the Intrepid, so yeah, the Voyager's in the museum, but there should be no reason why it's not here. But just little thoughts there. Of course, I thought this, again, it was just awesome of Dave Blass to kind of send this out again, solidifying more the connection from Star Trek Online to Star Trek, and that he's really kind of giving props there to Star Trek Online for giving these ships, and of course these ships from Star Trek Online being canon. So again, I thought it'd be just real good to have a discussion on these ships to see exactly what ships were there, and I was hoping that Dave Blass would release something, and he did, and I'm glad that we see here. And again, super happy that the Odyssey class is in canon now, along with some more other ships there that made it, which like the Alita class, of course, the Edison, and of course now we have a baby Akira. That's cute. There's some ships that I think that should have made it more still in here. I don't see, of course, the Nebula class. That is something that is not here. Essentially anything that we saw in Star Trek beforehand should still, the Next Generation, or even DS9 should still be here. I would think there'd be an Excelsior, a couple of Reliance, Centaur classes. I know they love to bring those out there. But this is the modern fleet now, at least in my opinion, now that they have there in Star Trek as of Star Trek Picard. So it was interesting to kind of go over. Would love to hear your thoughts, captains, on what you thought of this chart. And of course, if you actually did see the ships that I didn't see. So do us a huge favor, hit that like button, comment below, let us know your thoughts on this. Again, just thought it would be really cool to kind of go over this because I was planning to do it anyways, but with the release of this makes it even easier. So there you go, captains. Do us a favor, if you're new here, again, welcome. Consider subscribing here to YouTube Bridge. And of course, we will leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.